Hi.
So today we're going to be doing our review of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yay! By the way, this is a spoiler-heavy review.
Oh yeah!
There's going to be spoilers all over the place, so if you want to discover the story yourself...
Watch our video from last week when we actually play through the entire story, and we include bits and pieces of everything.
Yeah.
So our point is, you have options. If you've seen our gameplay, you probably have somewhat of an idea of what we think of the game.
Yeah.
But we're going to jump right into it. There are 3 different modes that we're going to be talking about, and the first one that we would like to talk about is called Adventure Mode. The first thing we want to talk about with Adventure Mode is the plot.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. The story starts with this light monster who's clearly evil named Galeem, who takes over the different fighters and uses them to do his bidding. So in the first part of the story, you go through and you collect fighters and you defeat Galeem. In the second part of the story, this creature called Darkon, which represents darkness, comes out, and he does the exact same thing as Galeem, and then you do the exact same thing and beat stuff, and then beat Darkon. And then in the very end, you have a battle between Darkon and Galeem, like a battle between light and dark, and you're kind of in the middle of that battle trying to decide how that battle is going to end up, and then you pick a side if you want to.
To get the true ending, you need to keep that balance maintained as you clear the board. You clear the board, and then you have the option to fight both of them at once, and you do all this crazy stuff. It's like a 3-part battle, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't do that, or even if you do that and choose to fight just one at a time, no matter which side you choose, everybody dies. Kill Darkon first. Galeem explodes the world in light, and everybody's dead. If you choose to kill just Galeem, you see Mario just plop over dead. Yeah.
Oh, so if you choose the other endings, like everybody
just is gone.
Okay. Yeah, because I only saw the true
ending.
He played through the other endings as well, so,
wow. Those 2 endings, yeah, everyone just dies.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually kind of darker than I remember most Smash games.
Okay, that's kind of cool. But it makes it feel like there's really only one ending.
Yeah, the real ending is
doing
both, in which you remove their influence from the universe entirely.
And honestly, when you're playing the game, why would you go for any of the other 2 endings?
Well, it's not hard to go for the true ending, but some people might not do it. I think most people would.
The only reason that I could see somebody not choosing to go for the true ending is if they were like, Galeem is light and light is good.
No, that's I'm sorry, that's not good or right.
I know, but
they're both evil, and they're both incorporating slavery into their business model. Neither of them is good. And
there was a brief point in our playthrough of it where I thought maybe Galeem is doing this, like, kind of enslaving the different characters just because he's trying to fight Darkon, and I was like, okay, like that kind of makes sense, but it's still not good for him to take control.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about this stuff in general. Like, we wanted to save some of this discussion for the video, and she's going to edit stuff and blah, blah, blah. The one thing we did discuss was a little bit of this, and I was like, if that was the case, if Galeem was just trying to get fighters to fight against the darkness, why didn't it just ask in some way? I'm pretty sure, like, Mario and Link and these characters who are heroes would love to help the light side defeat the dark, but instead Galeem's like, nah, I'm not giving you a choice.
So the moral of this story is get consent.
Oh my god.
I'm leaving that in!
You are leaving that in. Okay. I want to talk a little bit overall. This campaign mode was the most time-consuming, but it wasn't the deepest. I put it in 3 words. Interesting but tedious.
Right.
There are something like 615 fights. 615 fights. There's only like 70-something characters in the game. So not only are you fighting the same characters multiple times, which is okay, there's no real sense of progression of difficulty. Fights in general are either 1, 2, 3, or 4-star fights, where they're either novice, advanced, ace, or legend.
But you don't have a progression from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. So even when you're in the last stages of the game, you're going to get some 1-star fights. And it's like, why is this at the end of the game?
And you can reach a legend fight in the first hour.
And those are really hard to do. Like, they're actually really challenging. So if you can master a legend fight that early on, the difficulty just doesn't feel right.
There wasn't really difficulty except the last fight. I do admit was a little tricky. Took some time. I did finish.
Understatement.
Like most games, they teach you something and you have to get good at that thing, and then they teach you a second thing and you have to use both of them, and they kind of build upon itself. And this game lacked that entirely.
Which they could have so easily done
They
with the
could
way
have
that it was
actually
set
done.
up with Galeem and then Darkon. I think the most telling aspect of it was whenever we would get to a new realm, and you'll see this if you watch our Let's Play. Every single time we got to a new realm, like when Darkon appeared, we were like, oh my god, Darkon, this is crazy.
Oh, but
and
we have a
then-
whole new map to do.
Exactly. Now we have to go through a whole new map. We're gonna just do the same thing over and over and over again. And I get that that's Smash. Like, Smash is all about those kind of fights. But I feel like there's so much within Smash, so much potential, and I feel like it's not quite there.
Maybe if they had more of an actual plot. There's really no dialogue to the game. Everything you figure out plot-wise is through visuals and cutscenes and like just like looking at the map. Like, you had a really interesting foresight. She was able to kind of predict the upper dark boss just based on the world around it. She's like, this is creepy. I can see something psychedelic.
Like a creepy
and
clown.
then, boom, creepy clown just appearing out of nowhere. And I was actually pretty mad impressed with that.
Definitely a strength of the game, though, is the
world.
map. Yeah, the map is
The world
beautiful.
building, yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Nintendo has always done a great job with maps.
Yeah.
Map creation,
What
map
about world
art,
building?
world building in general.
Yeah, like, I'd say that was pretty spot on.
Yes, like that was beautiful. I just wish that when you met other characters, there was something. Like, when you unlock a character, there should be some sort of like, welcome to the team. Even if it was done through a cutscene, I don't care. Like, some
And it would have been
sort
cool,
of
like,
story.
it would have been cool if there was some kind of interchange with the villains as you go too, instead of just
Yeah.
like, oh hey, you're a bad guy, let me beat you up and that's it, and we move on. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about video games in general, but the single player experience is pretty phenomenal lately. There's a lot of great games out there where the story and the dialogue and all that stuff is like super good. Like, very amazingly well crafted. But we look at this and it has none of that.
We just didn't feel emotions. We felt emotions in like the first cutscene.
The first cutscene,
because we were like, oh my god, all of our heroes are gone. There needs to be like a push and a pull, and we never got the like, oh yay.
A lot of reviewers know you were an English teacher, and there's a lot of talk about like, hey, you gotta build up to a climax and release, and build up to a climax, and there was none of that. It was just like, oh hey, we're doing stuff. It doesn't really feel climactic. Oh, we're doing more stuff. It still doesn't feel climactic.
It didn't follow a very good plot structure.
With Switch cartridges, I guess they can only hold 32 gigabytes versus the Blu-rays for PlayStation and Xbox are 50 gigabytes. That 18 gigabytes could be the cutscenes and the voice acting that I would love to have had. They could have still had dialogue. That stuff doesn't take a lot of space.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the reason, but it could be a factor. We're not necessarily interested in giving any of this a grade or anything. I did enjoy my time playing the single player. I will never play it again. Ever. I have no reason to go back and ever do it ever again.
Yeah.
And that says enough for me. Because a good single player experience, like, I'm dying to play The Last of Us again right now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I want to play that
Oh my
game
God.
so bad right now.
Maybe that'll have to be a Let's Play
Maybe we
video
could.
in the future.
Yeah,
If
maybe.
you want that, comment. Moving on to classic mode.
This is more like classic Smash, where you go through a series of fights. I think it's like 6 or 7 fights. You win with that character, and you go through your typical credits and your shooting stuff, and that's all very reminiscent of the other Smash games. No real complaints with this mode. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. You can actually play 2-player, which I thought was kind of cool. We did that earlier. I was playing Greninja, and you were playing Pikachu.
Pikachu!
Okay. Each character has like their own set of opponents. It's not random. There is a little bit of a story there.
Nintendo likes to stick to its formulas. It'll add little changes and things like that, but in general, if you pick up a Nintendo game that's from a certain franchise, it's gonna play similarly to the previous installments of that franchise, and I feel like that's what we're really getting with this classic mode.
There is a progression to it. Here you start by choosing an intensity between, I think, 1 to 5. It goes up to 10. You can't start there. Every fight you complete, depending on how you do, your intensity increases. If you die, your intensity decreases. You can still continue. It's just a better experience. You don't get to the end and you're like, wow, this was easy and I feel like I wasted my time. It's more like, oh wow, that was close, I almost died.
Right, and I feel like it makes sense that Nintendo would move in this direction. We're definitely going to do a lot of classic mode.
Yeah. Multiplayer, Smash mode.
Multiplayer!
Wow.
There are people who want to come over just to play the multiplayer mode because it's Smash. Smash is amazing. My brother called me the other day because him and his friends were talking about Smash and wanting to play. Cody, get a Switch. No, but seriously, it's a really good game. There's a lot of stages. There's more characters than ever before. You have so many different options, and it's just a lot of fun.
You can create your own Mii fighter. You can create a sword fighter, a gunner, or a brawler. You can't touch their A moves or their basic attacks, but you can actually modify what their special moves are. For like the sword fighter, for the down B or the down special, you might be able to have a counterattack, just like Marth or a lot of the other swordsmen. But you could also have a totally different move that somebody else has. And I think that's really interesting, and we haven't delved into that whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that's something new. Well, I mean, technically you did create Mr. Scary Eyebrows. He's
Real
weird looking.
I
You'll
wanted to
definitely
make him
see
as weird as possible. Check it out. Check out the other video. It's somewhere in there. When I played Smash a lot with my friends, especially on GameCube back in the day, we played one summer like every day, like 40 days straight, like literally every day playing Smash.
I feel like
It's
that's a
crazy.
common life story for people in our generation.
Yeah. So we all got pretty good at it, but we'd honestly most of the time just play Final Destination.
We did the same thing,
Yeah.
except we played Hyrule over and over
Really?
and
Okay.
over again. Yeah, because it's the biggest stage. There were just certain people, who I will not name here, who wanted to be cheap and hide. But it's okay, because they didn't know how to fight. I'm not gonna but you.
But what's really interesting here is you have more stages than I think ever before. But not only do you have the normal version of the stage, you also have the battlefield mode. It takes the stage, but just creates a basic battlefield. So you have your flat land, your 2 platforms here, and then the 1 platform in the middle and the top. And so you can play Hyrule with a Hyrule background, battlefield style. You can also create your own playlist. So you can do whatever you want and have the playlist run through the game. Yeah, and we already have like 800 songs, so have fun. These are my favorite songs.
Oh my goodness, these are my favorite songs! Your interpretation of me sounds like Beaker. I'm putting a picture of Beaker on here.
So in the Omega mode, it's the same thing with Battlefield, but instead it's Final Destination. So you can play any map with just the one long platform, nothing else. Hyrule's one thing, but there are much bigger maps now with like lava and spikes and stuff.
Yep.
And maybe you don't want to deal with that stuff, but you still like the background or you like the default music that comes with it, and you could play Final Destination or Battlefield style there, and I think that's pretty cool.
I know a lot of people who have introduced this game to younger brothers and sisters. I've introduced it to my younger cousin. So if you know someone younger than you who's a fan of Metroid, for example, those stages are really challenging. A lot of them move, lava, it's not a good time. And so having those different stages might draw in some younger players who wouldn't be able to play on a regular Metroid stage, but are fans of the Metroid franchise. Overall, I would say that we recommend this game.
Oh, definitely. I bought the Switch for this game.
I wanted Let's Go Eevee.
But I didn't really care about Pokemon as much, even though it's fun.
Excuse me?
I've been held hostage to hold a Pokemon. So anyways, it is a system buying game. It is a game that you buy the system for. Smash is going to be the main multiplayer game we play.
Right. And so for that in its own, it's definitely worth it. But I would say that for the adventure mode, play it once and you don't need to do it again.
Agreed.
And that's our review of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I hope that this review was useful for you. If you haven't watched the Let's Play, I highly recommend doing that.
If you have any games you'd like us to Let's Play or review, let us know. I want to get this one to play Dark Souls, and I think that would be hysterical.
I feel like you're putting it on camera because
I want your students.
You're going to get them to say...
your previous students to be like, that would be awesome, because it would be funny.
If somebody comments below saying that we should play Dark Souls, I guess I will be bound to it. So if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, click subscribe. And if you want me to play Dark Souls...
Or anything.
Or review things, comment below, and we'll see what we can do. Bye.
Bye.
No, I'm laughing.
Well, it's your own fault.
This video is just going to be full of laughter.
No, it's fine. You're
Laughter.
just gonna,
That's a good video,
You
right?
have like a week to edit it.
That's true.
It's fine. You'll be all good.
Yes. In this mode, I can't be able to laugh now.